Hello, Dean. How do you feel after the last America's Cup?
It was still very disappointing not to win, but having been so close, and you quite often reflect on things that could have been different, but life moves on and we have to face the next challenge, which is looks like 2017, and we still have to find out where, but the AC62 instead of 72 and a few more changes, but some very exciting times ahead. Oh, no, I don't think it's psychological. We started the event very strong, and then they obviously were making a lot of mistakes at the beginning, and then by the end they were faster than us. We started faster and they finished faster, and they learned how to fall upwind, and it was very, very difficult because we had races where the time limit ran out, and where it was above the wind limit when we were leading, and it felt like we had opportunities which were a little bit cruel sometimes. Yeah, it is a hard defeat. When you put everything into it and you believe that you have a very good chance to win, it is hard when you don't. So, but you have to use those lessons and use it as motivation for the future to try and do a better job.
What's news about the next challenge?
Well, the intention is to challenge, but we have to still find the money to do it properly, and so we a lot of work to do to find the sponsors and put together a full budget so we can not only compete but give ourselves a chance to win. So it's a big job ahead, but we still need a venue before we can confirm our sponsorship. The money won't be certain until we have a venue and we can go to the sponsors and see if they want to definitely be involved, but we have confidence that we should be able to fund the team eventually.
And what is your relation with Grant?
We have a very good relationship with Grant, and he does a fantastic job raising the money, and it's not an easy job. And there'll be some changes in the team this time from what we had last time. So yeah, it's an interesting time, but a lot of work to do still.
And you prefer Grant to Brad?
Well, there's been a lot of discussion. We've got a new board in place which has evaluated all the different options and done a review and things. So I think the structure that we're going to have is going to be very strong. We've retained a lot of the key guys from the previous campaign. Some of there's probably 2 or 3 people that have gone to work for other teams already, but it's part of the game. We've got a couple of people from Oracle that used to work there, and so that makes us stronger. Luna Rossa they've employed a lot of people from Oracle, so I think this time we're going to see a much more level design group across the board, but I'm very happy with the people we have in our design team.
Do you prefer to have a second boat?
I think it's difficult because with only one boat, if you have any mistakes, if you have a breakage, you do some damage to your first boat, it could be the end of your team, because it's maybe the time needed to repair if you capsize like Oracle did with their first boat. So you're going to have to be very, very careful how you manage it, not having a spare. So Oracle has a big advantage with that, but in the end I think, given the timing and everything else, I think we still have a very good opportunity to win the America's Cup.
What is your preference for the venue?
Well, for us it's better if it's in America, because we're a commercially funded team, one of the only commercially funded teams in the America's Cup, and Bermuda would be a nice place to go and do some racing, but it's not ideal in terms of our sponsorship values. So for us, the US is a much better option. It makes a lot more sense in terms of value for money, and I think it would be probably a better venue for what we need with the infrastructure and everything that exists.
Chicago was the first intention of the Defender before.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We obviously heard that San Francisco now is out of the running, which I think is disappointing because it was a very, very good venue for these boats. The falling catamarans, they excel very well when there's good wind, and I think the spectacle of the boats sailing up and down the city front and things was amazing in San Fran. So with San Francisco no longer there, we understand and we're not sure, but we think that now the choices are between Bermuda, Chicago and San Diego. We don't really have a strong preference, but we would prefer it to be one of the 2 US venues.
How about the fees entries?
Well, it's on one hand it's very difficult for us because we can't raise the sponsorship until we know where the venue is, and we're not going to know the venue until after we've had to pay our entry fee. So it's a little bit of a difficult situation where you need to basically pay $2 million US by December, and we may not know where we're racing. So that aspect is difficult. We just, unfortunately, it's the rules we have to play by. So you would prefer to have more information so that you can make a better decision about challenging. But unfortunately, that's the way it is this time.
And what do you think about the new format of America's Cup with your qualifier and playoff?
Well, I think one thing which I really hope is the case this time is that there will be a strong Challenger Series. The last one, really, it wasn't a very good Challenger Series because Artemis, they couldn't make it, and Luna Rossa, we always had a good advantage over them from all the extra development and time we had with the boat. So we never had good hard racing before the America's Cup. So once we started the America's Cup, that was the first good racing that we had, and I think for whichever team is the challenger, it is better if they can come through a very hard Challenger Series to better prepare them to take on the defender. This time will be a bit different in that Oracle gets to race in the Challenger Selection Series, so they're already going to have a good understanding of where they sit relative to the other teams. But I think in the end it's going to be a very, very difficult series, and I think there's going to be some much stronger teams this time. Oracle had the benefit of two boats, and they didn't turn up at the America's Cup very well prepared. So there's definitely pluses and minuses to two boats. There's a lot of extra resource required to keep two boats in the water, and they've got to be careful how they manage their equipment too, because if they damage a boat, they damage a lot of equipment, and so then they potentially have a problem. So yeah, there's definitely some negatives to trying to sail two boats.